get ready for a Victory Monday from your first place, Indianapolis Colts for the shoe.
You deserve it. You deserve it, man. You've had some rough times as of late. You deserve it. You deserve it. Wow. I am thoroughly impressed with Uncle Rico and the Colts. Wow.
Sunday Scaries with Bucks McGee wrapping up week 3. A bit of a climactic, anticlimactic, disastrous at times a week of action.
There's no words for this week. There are just no words. Anyone who is sitting at home and watching this mess, I feel your pain. I feel your suffering. Wow. The games were either epic or just epically a mess. That's all I've got. When you don't even get to halftime of a game and they move you over, you know it's bad.
Yeah.
You know it's bad, but that's what we're here for. We're here to talk to you, fill in those cracks, and let's get to it, I guess.
Let's start filling in some cracks with teams that are supposed to be good.
At this point, what do you define as good? Like at this point, we don't even know. Really? Wow. Okay. Cool.
So let's talk about the other side. The other side of Indianapolis's OT victory in Baltimore, and the Ravens. We were kind of hinting at this in the pregame show that they're got a rash of injuries right now. Lamar Jackson's not looked like the Lamar Jackson of old. He did have 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns today, so maybe he's starting to turn the corner. But in any event, this team was a little rough going. Indianapolis was either close or held the lead for much of the game. And here they are, falling back, taking their first loss, and probably looking not as good a 2-1 as they probably should.
This Ravens team looks no different than last year's team. All the hype once Lamar signed his contract, and they signed a couple guys. OBJ was, we're gonna throw for 5,000 yards. We're gonna be this epic offense, and there's going to be balls flying all over the place down the field, and it's the same old thing. There's nothing different to this team. Lamar running for his life, rushing for 100 yards, it's great. He probably will go down as the greatest rushing quarterback of all time at this clip, but there was nothing else to this offense. And the Colts are playing with some reckless abandon. They don't care what people think. They're like, we can play with anybody once we touch the grass. Let's do this. They don't care. And led by Uncle Rico, overtime, and here it is, dealing Baltimore their first loss of the season. So all the kudos to the Colts, man. Yeah. Ravens need to look at some things.
Yeah, that one. It makes me even that much a little more upset that we don't have a pass rush, because if we did, how good would we? And Taylor, if Taylor was there, if Taylor was playing, it's so frustrating. We could be 3-0 right now.
Yeah, you guys could be that team, who flipped it around, and no one wants to face come playoff time. But now you guys are going to learn how to win different ways, I think, and I believe this will only help you guys next year. As long as AR stays healthy. Once he comes back and he's healthy. Now, quick question for you, sir. Let's say, he's maybe gone another week or so, but Uncle Rico is just clicking, and, you got the Uncle Rico train. Do you roll with him until, he falters, and then you say, all right, AR, come on back. Even though you named him the starter.
I find the likelihood of that reality to be a little on the not so likely side. Mm-hmm. I think if AR is ready to go, I mean, obviously, if Minshew's going to play like this, if he's going to play well, then mm-hmm. you can really take your time with AR and make sure he's right. You really don't need to put yourself into a situation from last year and rush him back. So, but at the same time, AR is the future. You did commit to him. if Minshew has any type of slippage or doesn't look like he's the guy or can't finish a drive off, then
Mhm.
obviously short chain, and you bring the kid back in.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, I was just curious. Get down to week, 12, 13, playoffs are possibly
Yeah,
there. Are you bringing the kid in, or are you going to ride with Uncle Rico? But no, I can understand what you're saying. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Quick
congratulations.
little comment from our friends. We beer here and we beach here on YouTube. Lou and Sarah. I want Lamar to be Vic, but he's coming up short. Is that a fair comparison? Dialing back to Michael Vick.
Honestly, I think they mirror each other. At this point, I think Vic had a better arm at this point. I haven't seen enough Lamar going downfield.
Yeah,
It's just, and it's not Lamar's fault. Like I understand, it just seems like his pieces aren't there when they should be. And this year was supposed to be the year where he became the passer. So if those guys don't get healthy, or this continues to repeat, then yeah, I think at some point Lamar may say, you know what, forget this contract. I don't want to be here anymore. Send me somewhere.
yeah,
What happened? He wants to be a passer. I get that. They need to throw the ball. They're not built to do what they did years ago. They're not. If they somehow were to sneak into the playoffs, they'd be a one and done. Like, they just don't have it. That defense isn't as strong as it was, and they are just an injury prone team like I've never seen. So
yeah. Uh, next up is the one of your Sunshine State teams, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They didn't even get off the bus today.
no, I don't. I just don't know what they decided to do today. I have no idea. They just didn't. You're right. They did not show up at all. This was a rough game, all from start to finish.
And like, did it feel like that? Because you were able to watch this game, I was not, but it
Mhm.
like, did it act like? And so I'm following along the score, and it was just consistently Houston. Jacksonville get a touchdown, Houston would answer back. So like, did the flow of the game actually feel like Jacksonville was just not even a willing participant?
It felt like Houston came and said, "Okay, you know what? Let's play. Let's just do it." They have this feel, kind of like the Colts. No fear. We're going to come out and we're going to play, and we know who we are. We may not win, but after 60 minutes, you're going to sit there and say, "Yeah, we don't want to play them again." Like, it had that feel, and it just seemed that Jacksonville was like, "All right, if we score, we'll be okay. Let us score, and then you know what? It's just going to happen," and it just didn't. Houston's defense, their D line was strong, kind of disruptive the whole game, and Jacksonville just couldn't get into a rhythm at all. It just wasn't their day. But they've got to figure it out, because we talked about them in the preseason. We figured they had maybe the easiest
Yeah.
path to a division title, to be honest, and it's not looking like that at all right now. About almost a quarter way through the season, but no, Houston came in and smacked them up, and the Jags just couldn't take the hits.
As you know, and as I have said many times in the past, I am not a fan of Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL. Did C.J. Stroud look like he might be surpassing Justin Fields?
He could be the guy to buck the trend. Yeah, he stood in the pocket. There were a couple times that Jacksonville got to him, but he held strong. He made the tough throws. He looked good. Before this game, I think he was ranked fourth in the league in passing yards, and I'm sure he's still going to be in the top five once this week is over. He's just out there doing his thing. I think he may have a chip on his shoulder. And watching this game and comparing him and Bryce, I know Bryce has got the ankle injury and all that, and the offensive line, but it just feels that Stroud is just a little more poised. So, all the credit to Houston, man. If this is the start of something, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
And of course, the third one was a later one, and this one was a bit of a surprise because we joked a lot early in the season so far and in the preseason that Arizona is the automatic bye week. And
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys walked into the desert today, Sunday afternoon, and they eek.
Dallas does what Dallas does. Let's be real. Dallas, when they're good, they're good, and when they're bad, they're just you'd have no idea what's going on. Like we said, we figured Arizona, okay, should be a win, no problem, even without Diggs, with Diggs being injured. But Josh Dobbs is looking good. He sits in the pocket, and I'm impressed with him. Hollywood Brown played well. Their defense was there. They weren't afraid. It was. They said, "Okay, Dallas, you're coming in. We're going to play. We're going to play you, and this is what it's going to be." And Dallas wasn't ready for it.
And they ran the ball down Dallas's throats, which Dallas's defense was probably the biggest weak link to me in this game. And I feel like there's going to be an easy target this week with people saying, "Oh, they missed Diggs. Oh, they missed Diggs." Diggs doesn't play to run.
No, not that. And their offensive line was beat as well. That offensive line, they had I think 3 guys missing off the line. So yeah, exactly. Diggs, he runs around and gets picks. That's Diggs' dig. That's his thing. They just didn't seem like they were all there. I don't know. It was a weird game, but you got to give Arizona credit. Maybe they're saying now, "Oh, we got to be careful because we're looking for that number 1 pick. Don't mess this up." Dobbs, Dobbs might be playing for a job somewhere if he can keep them in games throughout this year. You don't know. Maybe he's a starter somewhere next year. But I give him credit. Connor ran the ball hard. They played a complete game. They were there, and Dallas just screwed the pooch. If you watch the replacements, you know the replacements, then you know. But yeah, that Dallas is. Now here's the thing: Dallas loses this game. Do we sit here and start to do the yearly? Oh, it's Dallas. Is this it? Is this the McCarthy time? Is the plank slowly coming out? Is it?
I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, to me, McCarthy's long past the end of his leash. Right. However, that being said, you're only 3 games into the season. If you've committed to him at this point, they've got to string a few of these games together before the whispers start to get really intense for me. And I mean, to me, like it wouldn't hurt them one bit if they did fire him right now. But I don't for how long they've committed to him. I just don't see it. I don't see one isolated game as enough to actually pull the trigger.
No, I get
it. Especially since they let Kellen Moore walk.
Well, I honestly have the feeling that they felt they had so much talent on this team that McCarthy could not screw this up. And I don't know. It's one thing of you have all, you've got this talent and you're like, all right, it's going to work. And then you have these Arizona games. Now, if this is the only game, now everyone loses. Like, it happens. It happens. There are teams that are championship runs, and they end up losing to a team. You're like, how the heck did you lose to them? And it, galvanizes them, and, they end up all, good to go. I don't trust Dallas that way because Dallas does this year in and year out. So for them, they're going to have to come back and really play well and have a statement game, I think, next game. Because if they just eke it through, people are going to say, well, especially if Dak's throwing picks in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, there's definitely a legitimate point to that as far as most teams, they have a tough luck loss like this to a vastly inferior opponent. And you're right, it does galvanize them, but Dallas proven year over year that when it happens to them, they just collapse.
Exactly. So like I said, maybe I'm wrong. And, like you said, it's early in the season, but you're hitting the 1st quarter mark of the season. And usually by this time, you kind of know what you've got. Now, is this a team that's got all great talent and can put up points and, yay is great, but, can't beat the teams they're supposed to beat? So is is Arizona better than the Giants? Even though even though the Giants came back and beat them.
I know this is good. This is almost like would you rather get your toes chopped off or your left hand or something like that?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, so is Arizona, like how good is Arizona?
I mean, I think there's more to work with on Arizona. Um, Whereas the Giants are just strung together by uh, scotch tape and carpenter's glue. Um,
True, because it isn't Gorilla Glue, that's for sure.
yeah.
But no, I get what you're saying. I think Arizona has a lot of young talent. They've got lot of young talent, and at this point, they have that. I think they have that chip. No one believes in them. No one. It's basically a bunch of no names besides for Connor and Hollywood Brown. Really,
And Connor's getting up there in years. I mean, if this team
he can't run like that. He's got maybe another year or two of that tops.
right.
So they're really going to have to figure out what that offense is going to be. If they're going to become a kind of a pass back kind of deal, or they're going to find another bruiser, because he's held up. He has held up decently well out in Arizona. So,
and even in the two losses, like obviously they built up that big lead on the Giants, which I mean probably doesn't look as good with the Giants being what they are, but even so, they built up a big lead on an opponent. And then the Washington game, they were hanging tough. They had a lead on them as well. So if this Cardinals keep to do what they do with Josh Dobbs, nothing against Josh Dobbs, imagine what they could do with like an actual franchise quarterback.
Yeah, Caleb Williams from USC comes in, and there you go. But it's also a situation where maybe Dobbs becomes the guy. Mm-hmm. He's not that old, he's not old.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, yeah, he may not be, the sexy pick and all the accolades, but if he fits what you need and he does it well, that's he saves you money, so you can go spending money elsewhere.
That's right. They can address other positions. You just have to make sure you're not making a decision like Cleveland made years ago with Brian Hoyer.
Leave Brian Hoyer alone. He's quality backup. He was a quality backup. Don't disrespect Brian Hoyer. Don't disrespect him. Shame. But but true, exactly. Like if he can be the guy, and he can get some other parts, you're good to go. Disrespect.
Sorry. That was just get back for your banner comment last week.
You walked into that one. I do. Like sometimes things are just handed to you. Like what do? You have to take it. But I understand.
Next topic. Our friends in South Beach have probably been waiting for us to talk about this historic offensive explosion down in Miami today.
I sat and watched this
slaughter.
Yeah, exactly, slaughter. Anyone who had anyone from Miami on your fantasy team, you guys are looking pretty probably. Miami just went in there and said, "I don't care who it is. We're just gonna play we're gonna play how we play." And good Lord, Tua was sharp. It doesn't even feel like Tua threw for 300 yards. It was unbelievable. I think they had over 750 yards of total offense. Tua had like just over 300, so they ran the rest of it.
Yeah,
and it was just like Denver was running into each other. They were horrible. When you can pull your starter right after 3 quarters, and their backup goes in and plays the whole 4th quarter and still puts up 20 points, come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's really not much to say. Denver's horrible. Denver is just horrible. They're like really. Like I wonder if Sean Payton's sitting there now going, "Why?"
Well, that's the thing. Like it's Sean. Like we've kind of just hypothetically talked about this. He's just gonna ride the season out, burn Russ, and then jettison him at the end and move on. But it's starting to have the feel where that's actually more reality than speculation.
And, it has to happen.
And Sean Payton doesn't even care about this year. He's just mailing it in. And just like we're just gonna crash and burn, and everyone's gonna hate Russ. He's gonna be gone, and I'm gonna have a fresh, clean slate.
That's exactly what it is. This is basically everyone auditioning for next year because he inherited all of this. Let's be real. He inherited this whole team, and he probably, if he had his way, probably would have gotten rid of a lot of them. Would have cut some of them. Like, let's be real. It's rough. I thought that defense was better than what they showed, but it was lambs to slaughter. Yeah, it not good. I give all kudos to Miami. I got to do it. They were good. They were precise. They just ran the ball. They didn't care. They just had a good old time. It was almost like freaking training camp, and they were just playing along. Two was flipping balls like no looking, like he's Mahomes
Look at my
Jr.
moms. I was gonna say.
And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, are you serious here? This is happening, and they're all like having a grand old time, and then they pan over to Denver, and it looks like death. It looks like somebody's dog died, and it's just like that game was hideous. It was horrible. Miami, you get your due. Like I said, I believe Miami is the best team in the AFC, and I think they are without a doubt. Right now, they're just good. Waddle gets back healthy, forget about it.
Yeah,
Forget about it.
Is there with Miami? Is there any chance that you adjust your preseason bet, your preseason Aaron Rodgers bet, and buy a Dolphins jersey instead if they make the Super Bowl?
Wow. But I rock a Tua jersey, which I don't know if I do Tua. I might do Cheetah. No, I would. Yeah. I guess I should since Aaron's gone and we don't think the MILF Hunter's going to do anything. We think he's probably going to be gone in a week or so. Who knows what that's going to be like? But yeah, no. If Miami makes the big game, I will don the Miami and root for them. I guess I'll go for it. It'll feel like a rash a little bit, a little itchiness or so, but
the itchy scratchy.
It'll be like, oh Lord. It's like when you buy the wrong detergent and you're allergic to it. You're like, good God. But no, I would. They're impressive as all, man. Impressive as all.
While we're talking contenders, some of Miami's competition as the season gets along and teams start to form into place, other than, of course, my first place, Indianapolis Colts.
Here we go.
I digress.
Here we go. A whole week of this.
Yeah.
A whole week of this.
Hey, there were serious people. There were serious XM people saying the Colts weren't going to win more than 2 games all year. Well, we already got those 2.
Here we go. All week I'm going to get freaking memes and stuff. Here we go. No, like I said, you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. I'm not going to take it from you. You guys do it up. First place.
Yep. So the first contender is their division rival Buffalo. I mean, obviously they got off that brutal start on Monday night, which was maybe a little bit of insult to injury considering Zach Wilson played the majority of the game. But here they are. They rolled Vegas last week. They rolled Washington, blew the woodshed doors off them this week. So can we ask the question more definitively now? Is Buffalo back?
I don't think they're back. Like, let's say Buffalo of 2 years ago. I think they were better 2 years ago.
General, just in general.
Yeah. Oh, they're solid. Yeah. They're a contender. They're solid. Yeah, I'm not going to say they're bottom feeder Denver, but like honestly, Denver is the benchmark. Well, not actually Chicago is, but Denver's a close second. These are games that Buffalo should win, like it shouldn't be a surprise and we shouldn't be like, oh, wow, Buffalo, they beat the Commanders. We should be like, yeah, okay, they beat them by they beat them by 20 points. We should be like, okay, that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like at this point, it's Super Bowl or bust for them. They're out of that realm of, well, one more piece and, they're almost there. No, their window is now. Because that's what they built, that's where they're at. They should be contending for Super Bowls now. So no, they beat Washington. Okay, you're supposed to.
As
So
as as Chris Rock once so eloquently said, "What you want, a cookie?"
yeah, exactly. Like, ooh, Buffalo, yo, ooh, hooray! You beat Sam Howell. Okay, hooray! It's your job. That's what you were supposed to do. So now beat the teams you're supposed to beat and beat the good ones. You know,
I feel
so
like there's still some little inner old Patriots fan in you that still wants to humble Buffalo at every opportunity you get.
you know, I've pretty much cleaned my soul of my AFC East hatred. You know, I've moved on. You know, like I'm good. You know, it's it took time. You know, it was I had to let it go. You know, when New England told Tom to kick rocks, I said y'all can kick rocks too, and I'm good like that. But no, with Buffalo, it's everyone's like, oh man, Buffalo, Josh Allen, they're incredible, yada yada. Okay, well you've had your couple of years and you haven't done it. So now it's oh wow, well they beat Washington and oh man, and now we're all supposed to make them feel like they're up and coming. No, they're here now. If they can't get it done, then next year you tear this team apart. You figure it out
Yeah.
because you haven't improved this team at all. I don't think this team has been no pieces were brought in to really improve it. Everyone knew that this team really needed a back. What they should have done is called Indy and said, "We'll give you the moon and the stars. Can we have Taylor?" Make them a deal. Say, okay, what do you need for us to make this happen? Because they need that back. Because Josh is one hit away from sitting the bench for like 6 to 8 weeks, and I don't think they have Matt Barkley anymore, so I don't even know who the backup is. Like really. So Gabe Davis, is he either shows up or he doesn't show up. The tight ends, Dawson Knox, those guys are decent, but it's okay. They need to be great. So, hooray, you beat Washington. Bravo. You should, in theory, people were still picking them to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, not with the way Miami's playing.
No, if this is how the season goes, the trajectory we're on, they're hopeful to get a wild card. Hopeful. Yeah. They could be a one and done.
Yeah.
So
next up, of course, is your as we are constantly reminded of, your defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. They've rebounded now from that loss on opening night to Detroit with that really grinded out victory over the Jaguars, and then they absolutely just demolished the Bears, as they were pretty much expected to do.
They played the Bears. Jeez. Like, I can't. And now, anyone who watched that game, you would have thought this was the Chiefs of last year. Oh, my goodness, they're incredible, blah, blah, blah. It was that. I had to see Taylor Swift, like, every 5 minutes, hanging out with, Travis's mom. And, like, I don't need Greg Olson telling me that, yeah, I think it's true. I think they're dating. Okay, Greg Olson, no one cares, bro.
Didn't know you worked for TMZ.
Yeah, exactly. Us Weekly. Greg Olson on the dating life of Travis Kelce. No one cares. Yeah, they should have beat the pants off of the Bears. The Bears are hideous. Okay, so somebody didn't drop a ball today. Hooray for Kansas City. They should have beat this team. Okay, great. All right, well, get your stuff together because there's a team in South Beach right now that looks a hell of a lot better still. And right now it's a collision course. Right now it is.
Tyreek's revenge.
Oh, man, I'll tell you this, man. If that's how it goes down, if Miami has to go into Arrowhead and beats them, I am on the computer buying that Tyreek jersey. I am on it. But, it's a game they're supposed to win. Fine, you beat them down. Okay, you want to say they're getting their groove back. They're kind of figuring some things out. Sometimes you got to beat down on somebody to kind of get your mojo back. I get that. But, I can't sit here and say right now after that game, they're the Kansas City of old. The dynasty lives. I don't believe it yet.
It would be a heck of a fitting homecoming for Tyreek, considering the fact that the game that was supposed to be his homecoming turned out to be an international affair.
Yeah. Right, man? Like, geez. What was the NFL thinking? Like, have him come back to Arrowhead, man. That would have been great. But now I got to get up at like 4 in the morning and watch him play, Germany or whatever. But no, hey, Chiefs won. I didn't even get to see the full game. They cut it out before it hit halftime. I got taken to the Dallas game, so you know what they thought of that. Yeah. Yay, KC.
Quick diversion here. We're going to talk more about Tampa for the Monday morning show, but quick diversion here because we got a funny little comment.
I'm sorry to tell you, the Baker man is going to give you 40. No. Hey, it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be closer than people expect. I'm not going to sit here, of course I'm a fan and I want them to win. I got to be a realist too. I don't know what Philly's going to bring because they haven't really thrown the ball. It's been a grind it kind of game. If that's the game it becomes, Tampa's in it to win it. I think people kind of doubted the talent that Tampa had and kind of felt they had junk, but the defense is showing people, no, we're still here, and Baker's playing a hell of a 3 games so far. Give him creds.
Our last AFC contender or supposed contender to touch on, of course, is a team we've talked about a lot in the last couple of weeks. They finally get in the left-hand column. The Chargers finally finished off a game.
Staley almost screwed it up again. With that whack call. Why? Does he want to get fired? Like when you wake up in the morning and you go to your job, do you say, how can I screw this up so I can get fired? If you don't want to be there, quit, man. Just quit. I don't know how you do this to yourself. But yeah, they got lucky because the Vikings clock management at the end of that game was the worst thing I've seen. Yeah. They couldn't get on the line to clock the ball, so they'd have at least 2, maybe 2 shots at the end zone. Kirk throws that hideous junk into the end zone, and that's the game ends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they got to win. Hooray for them. It was the ugliest thing. They are far from out of the woods. He keeps his job for another week. Yay, Staley. You're there for another week or so. Good luck. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was kind of torn because I had the Chargers in a parlay on my pool.
The Vikings forgot to hit the spike button in Madden. Exactly. That's all you had to do. Kurt, yell at your guys, hey, get on the line. And you're at home, for God's sakes. There's no crowd noise. You control the noise. Whatever, man. Chargers disappoint me so bad. I was so high on them. It's like a team I want to like. I like the blue jerseys. They seem like a fun team to like. Nope, they're just trash.
Yeah. And I was torn at the end because I had the Chargers in a parlay, but that was kind of thrown out the window by a couple other games, probably the Jaguars. So at that point, I was just wanting Minnesota to score just so I could hit the over, and of course, it didn't happen. So I wound up losing that one too.
Yeah, but the Chargers won. Yay! The AFC West is trash. It's trash. I was so hyped on that division. I will sit there and say, I rooted for that division. Oh yeah, at least 3 teams in playoff contention. Nope, that's just that. It's horrible. Kirk saw his mortgage in trouble when Jefferson went down.
And then Hawkinson too.
Seriously, Jefferson goes down, and I'm watching it. The whole place just goes dead silent. I think I saw men crying in their beer. Kids were told Santa didn't exist. It was like real life hit. And then he gets up, and they're cool. And then Hawkinson takes a shot to the ribs, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. It's over.
The only saving grace for Kirk in that situation is the fact that he's going to be not going to be there next year anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You better hope he goes somewhere good because you don't want that mess again. Yeah. Good Lord.
Well, you're nice and riled up, so there's no better time in the show to start bringing on teams that we can dump
Oh,
on.
right off? No,
Dump.
teams we can write off?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. It's half the league, man. It's horrible.
The first one, of course, is your preseason pick, is your preseason bet to buy the Aaron Rodgers jersey, and that is the Jets. They continue to look rough. Zach Wilson continues to look like he doesn't even belong in the NFL.
Dude, the XFL's not taking him. No disrespect, man. I enjoy the XFL. Ben DiNucci came from the XFL.
Come on,
Ben
Denver.
DiNucci.
Call him off the practice squad.
You need him because Russ sucks. Yeah, the Jets. 15 straight losses to New England. Mac Jones adds to that legacy. How does that make you feel, Jets fans? Really? If I still rock the blue, man, I'd be dancing like I don't care. But I feel bad for you. 15 years. Damn. 15 games. Mac Jones. Hideous. Mac Jones is horrible.
One year for every point the Patriots hung on them today. Or one year for every point the Patriots hung on them today.
And like if you saw the touchdown throw, it was like Mac just turned around and hucked it for his life. It was horrible. The guys who caught it was Pascal something or other. I never even heard of the guy. 15-10.
Great comment here. Zach Wilson needs his power-ups. More MILFs.
I don't know what Zach needs, but I sure as heck know the Jets need to say it's time to go. The Jets can't go on like this. They can't. Like, really? You're telling me that Saleh is going to be able to stand up there on Monday and really give this guy a vote of confidence?
Yeah.
Come on. Like, there's no way. There's no way he can do that. They really need to look and see if they want to salvage the season at all, what they can do. Like, they really have to. Talk to Aaron, the Messiah of Gotham now, Mr. Hoodie in his darkened room and say, hey, we want to save the season. Can we bring somebody in? Are you going to be cool with that? These are the names. If Aaron is as cool and happy and joyful and all about the team like he plays it right now, then you get who you can and at least make the playoffs because you got talent.
Yeah. And that of course being more for next year. What's the kind of more immediate fix to salvage this season? Do you just pony up whatever you can to get Cousins? Do you try to pry Josh Dobbs out of Arizona? Like, what is the best solution to just try to right this ship?
The question is, what does the Jets really have? Like, they gave a good chunk of stuff to get Aaron. Arizona is not giving up Dobbs. There's no way. They're going to ride that train till the end. They're hoping the wheels fall off, but I don't think they are. They're going to be a quality 7-8, 7-10 team probably. Like, they're going to win games like they did today. If you want Kurt, like if you believe that the Super Bowl is it, you can't worry about Aaron's feelings. Say, you know what? We brought him in for a rental. He's going to come in, look terrific. That's how you sell it. We brought in Kurt and said, you know what, Kirk, we want you here. This team is built for a Super Bowl. We probably won't keep you next year. Do your magic. You win a ring, you have your pick of going anywhere because teams are going to say, oh, man, okay, Kirk Cousins, Super Bowl champ. Sign for whoever you want, get your 2 or 3 year deal, and go on your merry way. Aaron comes back, and he's good to go. Plus, we're all assuming that he's gonna be back. The surgery, something could happen. These guys have had surgeries, infections, things like that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it could. You've got a little bit of insurance, but if the Jets want to be legitimate this year, they can't do it with Zach Wilson. It just can't happen.
Another great comment here. It was raining. Rain takes away superpowers. Like in Harry Potter. Gringotts. It's the same, right?
Yeah, sure. The Jets fans are going to hang their hats on that. When your headband gets wet, what happens. The MILFs don't come out. The MILFs don't come out in the rain. So they're a mess. And what's going to happen is guys on that team are, after a while, are going to stop giving, Wilson that whole, yeah, he's great, he's getting better. They're going to say, I want to win. That's what we were preaching here. He can't get it. Let's figure it out. So the Jets have something got to figure it out now.
Sorting hat is nearly pointing them to last place right now.
I'm telling you, them in Chicago battling for the first round pick, maybe. I don't know. Well, I don't even know if the Jets have their pick for this year. They think they gave that to the Jets
in Denver. Let's not forget about Denver.
Oh yeah, Denver too. But you know what? Just to stick it to Sean Payton, Russ would probably win one extra game.
Yeah, he probably would.
He'd be like, enjoy this.
How dare you leave me in the fourth quarter of this game where we gave up 70 points?
Yeah, like why is he in there? Even if it's a handoff, why is he in there, man? That's just saying, I hope you get your ankle turned over. I don't care about you, whatever. And Russ is like, you know what? Now we have the number 3 pick. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
Quickly on this one, no real surprise what happened up in Motown. The Falcons were finally grounded. They got off this kind of nice right flip of the coin type of games and came out to 2-0. We were expecting the Lions to bring them back to reality. Now the Lions didn't look as clean as I thought they would. Gibbs was a little bit slow to get going. Goff, he threw at least one pick. He did score a touchdown with his legs, but he was kind of a little unsettled. Atlanta's defense kept them kind of in the mix, but for the most part, Detroit kept Bijan in check. And as we spoke on the pregame show, Desmond Ridder he's not the guy to carry this team.
No. Detroit had injuries on the defensive side of the ball too. They were nicked up. So when it comes to Atlanta, there was enough tape where people are like, okay, this is what Atlanta does. Atlanta runs the ball and they don't give Ridder too much to handle, because let's be honest, he's not scanning the field because you got Kyle Pitts galloping around doing nothing, no one around him for like 10 yards, and he still can't throw him the ball. He's like that kid in Little League who plays out in the outfield, playing in the dandelions, chasing bumblebees and stuff. No one around him, nothing's happening. That's what it's been like. And Detroit, with Campbell as coach, he's not a stupid guy. He's like, they're going to run. We're going to say, okay, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to force Ridder to throw the ball. And basically, they shut down the run, and Ridder is Ridder, and he's what he is. So, yeah, they stopped him, and now they're going to have to kind of start to look at, okay, teams have kind of figured out what we do. We got to be able to move the ball down the field because you've got guys who can catch the ball. You got to do it. You got to throw the ball.
Yeah, and it was actually probably better for Detroit to have to grind this out. They had a lot of injuries today. Like I said, Gibbs did not play very well, and it was his show today because Montgomery was hurt as well. And so it was probably actually better for Detroit long term for the season for them to actually have to grind this out.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to win ugly, point blank. Sometimes an ugly win is a better win than a 70-20 win. like it's cool. Like you're a Miami fan, you're probably sitting there taking them back, enjoying life. But like when you watch the game film, you're like, well, what did we do wrong? Like we hung 70 on there. Like you can't. There's nothing to say. Well, you know what? You can tie your shoe a little better, pull up them socks. You looked a little off. Like there's nothing to take from that game. Like you don't even play the tape. You're like, okay, let's get ready for next week. That's what you do. But Detroit can say, you know what? We were banged up and we gutted. We grinded this game out. All right, good. This is what we did. Yeah, there were some things we did wrong, but we were able to overcome those and pull out the win. So. And it's good. So, hey, I'm happy for Detroit. They were, a lot of preseason darling, people, they were their darlings. So they're doing what they need to do. Right now, that division is a mess as well. Honestly, if you look at it, everyone dumped on the NFC South and made it sound like it was a dumpster fire. It doesn't look like a bad division right now.
That's right.
If
Carolina could just get an offensive line, it would actually look pretty decent.
Exactly. Well, each division has that one team, so that's ours. We'll take that. Hey, we appreciate it. But that's the thing that if the Lions can, get healthy and just play like they can play, there's no reason they can't win that division.
Yeah.
So, but no, great job by the Lions.
Final bad luck team of Sunday this week, and I had to rethink how I was going to phrase this for you because most of this game I was thinking I was going to have to preference this like, hey, we've kind of dumped on New Orleans a lot so already this season. Maybe we need to rethink this. Maybe they're actually not that bad. And sure enough, Derek Carr goes down. The human white flag that is Jameis Winston comes in, and Green Bay gets back into it. Romeo Dobbs finally gets another touchdown. Jordan actually looked at him this week, and
Chase's anger point of the season. Romeo Dobbs, get him the ball.
And the Packers ran it all the way back. They took the lead. New Orleans had a little drive at the end, got in field goal range, but missed the kick. So I don't like. This is a situation where I don't really have confidence in either one of them because you have New Orleans that they had two really rough wins, and we're kind of like, okay, picking this apart. And then this one, it's like, okay, well, Green Bay's had a little bit of a rough go, but they're also at least they've got a lot of talent on the team. They have some potential, and sure enough, from that they kind of came out in this game really flat. Jimmy Graham returned from the dead, caught a touchdown. But
what was the reason for bringing him in? Hold 1 second. Okay, Jimmy Graham was great in his prime. What does he serve? What purpose? 5 plays a game?
I think they got him drunk and he thought Drew Brees was still there.
Did you? Was it like the Ring of Honor and you kept him and said, "Hey, you still want to play? Come here and hang out." Whatever.
He read Cars 4 as a 9.
Unbelievable. We signed Jimmy Graham. we geriatrics. Come on down.
Yeah. And then this Packers team, I also don't know what to expect now because you have that first game, which they got off to a really slow start and were grinding out with this abysmal Chicago team, and then they blew the doors off of them. And then the Atlanta team last week, they just couldn't put Atlanta away. They would score, they would drive on them, they just couldn't stick the knife in the chest. And now this one, they came out completely flat, and granted, yes, they came back, yes, they got the win, yes, they're 2-1. However, it doesn't look like a very confident 2-1. It's like, so I go back to my little joke. Will the real Green Bay Packers please stand up?
They won't because Aaron Rodgers isn't there. We have to understand that Aaron Rodgers isn't there. It's Jordan Love. We don't know what Jordan Love is. This is his welcome party. So what we're gonna get is a lot of great plays and a lot of what the heck were you thinking? Aaron wouldn't do that. They were nicked up. They had injuries. They had line issues. Some guys weren't there. I think Aaron Jones was out, so they were banged up going into this game. So for them to come back and win this, I think is impressive. I think that gives Love confidence. I think Jordan Love will sit there and say, you know what, I was able to come back because everybody, preseason and such said, the Saints that they've got a quality defense. They're good. We know with Carr, they're going to be great. They're going to be great. They're just a quarterback away. And it's not true, but that's what people for some reason thought. And now, hurts a shoulder. You don't want to see injuries on anybody, but if this is a couple games or something like that, that's going to affect them. Their defense is decent, but it's not what it was a couple years ago. Their starting safety is out for 3 games because I think of PEDs or something. So there's that. You get Kamara back. Okay, that's great. So is it going to be the Taysom Hill show for 3 days? Because Jameis isn't going to do it. You're going to have more of that garbage going on. So I don't know. The Saints are comfortable with them. There's talent there, but I don't know. I don't know what they are. They haven't had a definitive win yet. Yeah, it's still kind of early in the season, but they haven't really laid it down on anybody. So if Carr's hurt, that's going to, put a chink in it some more. But no, I think this win was a better win for Green Bay. Like I said, Love can, kind of put a feather in his cap and say, hey, you know what? We came back, we grinded it out, and we won.
From Jordan Love's perspective, so you're thinking like, don't even let it creep into your mind that New Orleans lost their quarterback. They're kind of a funky team this year. Just think like, hey, that's a 17-0 deficit to another NFL team.
Exactly. Exactly. And Jameis ran that team for a bit. Let's be honest. It wasn't like you brought in some no-name backup. Jameis ran that team. Jameis knows that offense. It's not like it was anything different, Jameis could have played it smart, and they could have grinded it. They could have grinded out maybe another 3 points and won 20-0.
Yeah.
But defense gave up the points, and there you go.
I mean, there's probably a lot of people in the Big Apple thinking Jameis Winston will look pretty good in Green right now. Or at least better than the MILF Hunter.
If that's what New York wants to do, then go ahead, man. Good luck with that.
I mean, it's kind of the point. It's kind of the point where we're going to cut our introduction and send tape in for your quarterback.
Yo, man, just let me get 10 throws, man. I'm good. 10 throws, man. I'll make it. I'll give you the best 17-yard out. You're good to go. After that, man, you're on your own. You got 2 running backs. We're going to run the hell out of the ball. I'll make it look good. But, hey, you came back from 17-0, your first real full year, and you won. There you go. A win's a win. You build on that. You're going to look at that tape, see what you did wrong. But you got the win. In the back of the head, you're like, but you know what? We won. So let me improve. That gives you a little extra boost coming back, to the office on Monday. So all the power to them. Saints, though, a lot more questions than answers.
Yeah. So of course the final game of Sunday is just underway a little while ago. That is Pittsburgh Steelers going to Vegas, and Vegas has not exactly looked very hot this year. They did, of course, sneak out that win in Week 1, but then they got taken to the woodshed against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as this game tonight with Pittsburgh, now you have Baltimore who's fallen back to 2-1. Of course, Cincinnati's off to a brutal start. Cleveland, I guess, is 2-1 as well, right? So now Pittsburgh jumping back into the fray with a potential 2-1 if they could just take care of business and win a game they're supposed to tonight. How does that kind of shape up the AFC North?
It just jumbles it up even more. Like, let's be honest. I don't think anybody is really keen on the Steelers either. They've been up and down. So it's one of those things. Their defense has won them games up. TJ Watt's been incredible. I'll give him all the credit in the world. But Pickett needs to get it together. Najee Harris really needs to show out tonight. I think he really needs a game where, he can get 100 yards and really be that back. Because so far, he really hasn't. So I think they need to look for that. And, hey, 2-1. Hey, you're going to get in there and say, okay, we're on par with everybody else. We got to get better. I think at that point, they're looking 2 or 3 games down the road and saying, okay, we need to make sure we're coming out at least a game above 500 on these and just try to survive, try to get healthy.
So you don't have any kind of initial confidence that with Cincinnati and Baltimore struggles that a 2-1 Pittsburgh team could be a potential favorite for the division?
No, because I don't know if they're going to get hot. I don't know if they're going to all of a sudden reel off 6 or 7 straight wins, and then all of a sudden, they're, they've turned, back to the Steelers of old and such. They haven't shown that yet. Now, I think you've got another 2 or 3 weeks to see that. Cincinnati is, Joe's got to come back right now. Without Joe, they're in rough shape. Let's be realistic. So Baltimore, they got to get healthy somehow. It's going to be whoever can get healthiest and survive is what that division is looking like right now. So we'll see what happens, but no, I'm not really excited about the Steelers.
Before we say good night to the live and tune in to watch this game, I did miss a comment earlier that you're going to get a kick out of. I believe this was probably referring to the Chargers-Vikings game.
It was like a WWE storyline, like the Taker lost at Mania. Oh man, yeah, that's exactly what it was like. They said, "All right, you guys are going to have to lose, so this is how it's going to go down." Oh man, the Vikings. But you know what? Everyone swore they were going to be a double-digit win team. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're not going to win 13, but they could be 10 or 11." So then when Tampa beat them week 1, it was, "Oh well, first game of the season, yada yada." What are the Vikings? Don't look that hot. I don't know. That's why they play the games. I don't know.
Well,
Jesus.
we are coming up on the hour mark, and we've got a game to watch and recap for Monday morning later on. So let's pause this for now. We'll catch up later, and all of our audience can catch the rest of our final thoughts Monday morning for Week 3. What are your final thoughts on this Sunday?
This game better be good. Like I can't sit through. I can't do this. I can't, man. Like this has been This was a rough week. I just want people to stay healthy and let it be a good game. If it becomes the deal where the Steelers all of a sudden find offense and it's like 34-7, I don't know. I've got laundry and stuff to do. I'll peek in and out. I don't know, but there is salvation as there is one more game after tonight. So
two.
I feel 2. That's right, 2. I forgot. That's right.
We're doing that again. We're doing that thing again. Yeah.
We're doing that thing again. I think this is the last time we're doing it, hopefully, but it's the league. That's what they do. We all love football, so we'll take as many games as we can. So I'm just looking for a good game. I hope everybody enjoys it, whether you're a Steelers fan or a Raiders fan, Patriots West, as I like to call it.
Yes.
So you guys enjoy it. We'll be back soon, and there we go.
Cheers to that. We'll catch you Monday morning.